Hey, hey. I'm so excited to present to you guys one of my favorite topics that I get asked all of the time, and that is how to establish quality relationships in a digital space. We'll talk about my three proven methods for what works. Obviously, these things are all based on my experience, so I hope that you enjoy, take notes, and definitely apply your own experiences to these particular alchemy actions. If there is anything that I would recommend in terms of developing, reaching out, networking, especially in a virtual space, it's been challenging over the last year or two to transition into really building 100% online relationships, just about. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to already have a network that we have developed prior to what we've experienced during the pandemic, I would definitely say it's no different. My very first tip would be to get back to your roots. And what does that mean? I find that all of my relationships are really founded in a couple of principles. One, integrity. Two, reciprocity. And three, open communication. And so all of these things are what I look for. They're the things that I look for when I am reaching out to someone and I want to either connect with them, collaborate with them, possibly support or patron their business. I'm building a relationship the entire time. But I learned those skills back when I started my firm. I would even go even further back to thinking about, going to college and having to navigate the adult world for the first time. It was 100% up to me to figure out how I was going to build relationships outside of the classroom. And there was no one holding my hand. So if you're someone who, you want to know what's the most important thing that you can do to personally establish relationships online, I'd say, what were those things first? Kind of look within yourself and take a note for what helped you build friendships. What are the things that help you determine if you have a quality relationship in your existing life that you built organically offline? Same rules apply. You want to pull over those principles. For me, it was, again, open communication, integrity, and reciprocity, certainly empathy as well, being very clear about what it is that my other person or parties were feeling and needing, and then being able to find my space in that. And so that's actually going to lead me directly into my next point, which is get back to giving. So my tip number two would be, if you want to create quality virtual relationships, it's so important that you get clear on what it is that you have to offer. It's important to enter relationships ready to present yourself prior to receiving. And I think that by kicking off the reciprocal flow that way, you guarantee that you're showing up authentically. You guarantee that you set the tone for the quality of relationship that you're going to develop. So an example of that would be, as I'm reaching out to collaborate on a project, which I am very much so in support of. In fact, I have named 2021 my year of collaboration. So if I'm reaching out to someone that I want to partner with, which I've done many times, or collaborate with, the very first thing that I do is come prepared to present what I can offer, even if I need support from someone else. So what can I offer you? Here is what I'm coming to the table saying I'd like to accomplish, and this is how I will show up and support you, or how it can benefit you. I think that that is probably why I have had such success with building projects that are centered around community and authentic connection. So that would be my number two tip, is make sure you kick off the relationship based on reciprocity. Now, a couple ways that you can do that would be to, if you're someone who's building a project, for example, would be to figure out how it will either profit them financially or support their existing business model. For one of my favorite collaborators, Colin Bedell, the creator of Queer Cosmos, I know that Colin is 100% in support of education. He's an amazing educator. And therefore, when I created Creative Flow Alchemy, I looked for things that would be, again, based on learning, based on collaboration, based on real lived experience, but something else was research. Colin's a lifelong learner. And if I was going to create a platform that I wanted to have him associated with, I knew I would have to be 100% in alignment with his value. And his value, definitely, research, education, learning. These are definitely values that this person and I share. So I would say the same thing. If you want to build a relationship, think about the qualities and values and where you share, and you can go old school. What's your Venn diagram? Remember those Venn diagrams from school, start with core values and this person's core values, the person that I like to collaborate with, or organization that I like to collaborate with, and where do they intersect? So that when you reach out, the messaging is consistent to that. And it's authentic because you really put the work into making sure that you're not reaching out based on theirs alone. You're very clear about who it is that you are and what it is that you can offer them first. I think the most important tip that I could offer to close out would be absolutely get clear on your ask. So, first, the most important thing is to remember, we talked about establishing relationships in the same form and fashion that you would online that you would offline. Two, making sure that you're clear on your why, like what it is that you have to offer. But then finally, make sure that you know what you want. Put some time and effort into visioning exactly what this new relationship will be. So let's take the business side off. We'll come back to that, but let's think about it from just a personal, connection, someone you really are inspired by and you just want to spend more time with. You could always take some time and think about what is it that I want to from this new connection. And very often, by asking yourself that question and being still, the answer will arise. Very often, if you just get still and quiet, you can hear it. And I know a lot of times for me, when it's not clear, it just means it's not time. And I'm okay and very comfortable with that. In other cases, I know, and if I have that green light and my spirit is just like, go, 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 but I don't have the exact clear, I will offer opportunity to just have a connection conversation. And I'd like to keep it short and sweet, which means I might offer someone, hey, do you have 15 minutes? That's all I'm looking for. To either hop online or to have a quick phone conversation with me, FaceTime if you're comfortable, where we can just see each other, connect with one another and touch energy. And through that, I think a lot of the answers come as well. So, that definitely is a great way to build an authentic relationship, whether personally or professionally. But if you are someone watching, you're looking to take this third step and apply it to business, what I would say to you is don't be afraid to ask for what you want, especially if you have already led by leading with what you can give. Back to my relationship with Colin, one of the things that I knew I needed someone who could make that longer commitment of 3 months, that longer commitment of being, one of my pioneers and champions of Creative Flow Alchemy. So I went in asking exactly for that. And I gave the space for Colin to say, I can or I cannot. And I was not afraid to do that. So I would say in this place, it's important to be clear. It's important to be fearless, and it's important to know that the alignment will lead in everything. So if your conversation is coming from or your request, your ask, your ask from this other party is coming from a place of authenticity, and you've done the work around giving, and you've done the work around taking off this like this layered wall in communication that says that digital relationships require something different than our in-personal person relationships. If you've already done that work, by the time you get to step 3, you're ready. And I can't tell you how much this is really supporting me by working in that order. So if there is something that you want, start by getting clear on that and then just ask. 9 times out of 10, if you made it that far into a connection call or you have the opportunity to conference with this individual and they're sharing time, they've already done their work in finding out who you are as well, and likely will be in support of your vision. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you all today, all about building and establishing quality relationships. I'd love to get more into this topic in a future masterclass. So if you have questions, especially within your industry, I know this is going to be a good conversation, especially for nonprofit organizations. But if you have questions, please let me know below, and I'll be sure to pull some special classes together for that. All right. Talk to you guys soon. And I hope you have happy relationships that are built in integrity, reciprocity, flow, and empathy. Those are so important as we establish relationships that are going to serve us for the rest of our life.